On this episode of Fishing Fever, we'll be fishing rivers for smallmouth. Today on the river I was using a Wacky Rig Senko. This is a 4-inch Gary Yamamoto Slim Senko. On there I have a Gamakatsu Finesse Wacky Rig hook. I'm throwing it on a 6-pound line on a G Loomis drop shot rod. As you can see where I just cast it in the river, there is a tree and an eddy. An eddy is a section of the river that has no current. That's where these fish tend to hang out. Makes it easy for them. They don't have to work against the current the entire time. I hooked up as I let the worm float through the current and into the eddy. This nice 16 to 17 inch river smallmouth ate my Senko.
Yes, it's all weeds.
In this section of the river, there is also a massive weed line. This weed line ends where the current ends. So in that section, there is also a weed to rock transition along with no current, making it a very good spot to catch some smallmouth. As you can see, a typical river fish, very skinny, long, built for moving in the current. That EWG hook is right in the bottom corner, right where you want it. Now, this part of the river, so these branches are overhanging, but the water is still deep enough where these fish can live under them. It's probably about a foot and a half. I'm still using the same technique, Wacky Rig Gary Yamamoto Senko. This is more of largemouth territory. There's a lot more weeds, less rock. You can still catch smallmouth in these places. Now, I do have the wrong equipment for this part of the river. If I were to fish this again, I would probably go with 12 to 15 pound line instead of 6.
Broke me off!
Making it really easy for these fish to wrap you around something and break you off. As you can see, I'm just working it down the current, just like a natural bait fish would, or something that these fish would tend to eat. And hooked up with it hanging out from the current. Like I said, a largemouth before. There's a lot of wood and timber too under these branches that these fish tend to hang around. You'd be surprised how far they'll come out of the bush and branches to get your bait, so you don't have to skip it all the way up under there and get yourself in trouble getting snags and break-offs. Again, that EWG hook, nothing better, hooked him right in the top of the mouth. And just a little underwater release right in all that grass you can see. Now lastly, like I said before, you want to go heavier line. I hooked up about probably a 4-pound smallmouth and had pretty much no chance as he went right into the weeds and broke me off.
Zach, giant smallmouth. Oh, he broke me off!
On this episode of Fishing Fever, we learned about Senkos, how to use them in current, where to find creek smallmouth. On the next episode, we'll be in Texas, catching big largemouth on beds. I'm Ryan Gaynor, and we'll see you next time.